Well, the big story we're tracking all day today on NDTV, the battle for Uttar Pradesh, said to be the semi-final before the general election in 2024 begins today. It is going to be the first phase of the 7-phased election that begins in Uttar Pradesh with 58 constituencies across western Uttar Pradesh that are going to be voting in this four-cornered contest. Now, it is a crucial part of the state which has seen, remember, the farmers' agitation. So while back in 2017, 91% of the 58 seats in the region were won by the BJP, is 2022 going to be any different because of the farmer agitation? That is the big question that many will look to answer. Many people believe that there is a possibility that the farmers' backlash could in fact alter the dynamics in these 58 constituencies in western Uttar Pradesh. The big challenger for the BJP, especially in western UP, is, remember, the rainbow coalition that has been stitched together by the Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav. He has augmented his Muslim Yadav support base, taking the help of smaller parties with a key OBC voter base. Now, his key ally, especially in western UP, is Jain Chaudhary of the RLD. He holds the key to around 30 seats in this area, and the BJP, like I said, won in Uttar Pradesh in 2017 with a sweeping mandate. But this election is also expected to be a referendum, not just on the farmers' agitation, but also on the Yogi Adityanath government, remember, which has been criticized over its handling of the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. So it's a fascinating election. Uttar Pradesh always is. Let's go right across to my colleague Meher Pandey. She's joining us live at the moment from Noida. We have our team of reporters who, of course, fanned out across key areas of western Uttar Pradesh, and we'll continue to bring you the very latest from ground zero. Meher, it's over to you. What's happening where you are?
So Rishika, I'm in Noida sector 12 at the Rajkiya Inter College. This is one of many polling booths across Noida. Voting is about to start at 7 a.m. So right as we're speaking, voting is about to begin. This seat, the Noida seat, is presumed to be a safe seat for the BJP because the current sitting MLA is the Defence Minister Pankaj Singh. He won by a huge margin in 2017, but there is a new challenger from the Congress party. She's a young legal advisor. She's now entered politics with the Congress, and she is one to watch. There's also an SP candidate who is standing but has consistently lost for the past 2 assembly elections. So it is presumed to be a safe seat for the BJP, but it will be an exciting election. Right now, things are a bit empty because it is still early morning. It's a cold morning here, but around 875 people will be voting here when it begins. People will slowly start trickling in, but remember that the Noida seat has always had a low voter turnout, less than 50% for the past 2 assembly elections, and that is something that the district officials have been trying to counter as well this time. The DM actually went so far as to say that we need to be voting like our lives depend on it. So they're trying to increase voter turnout by making polling booths more comfortable, more inviting. There is seating, snacks also involved so that more people come out to vote today.
Right, Meher, also, like we've been saying, this is a very important election, in a certain sense, a referendum over the Yogi Adityanath government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, you've reported extensively, on the COVID pandemic. How much of an impact is that likely to have on the mind of the voter in Uttar Pradesh, given the fact that there were several questions that were asked of the Yogi Adityanath government's handling of COVID, how COVID-19 was handled, especially in rural areas, the opposition repeatedly raking up the issue of, those devastating visuals of bodies floating in the Ganga that we saw in the second wave. How much of an impact is that likely to have in this election?
So the UP government's handling of the pandemic has been an unforgettably visually horrifying experience. We've seen all these visuals of bodies by the Ganga and the Yamuna, and of course these visuals, hopefully people are not forgetting. In urban areas, We did not see it as much in UP, but rural areas, as you said, will remember those things, hopefully.
Right. Also, Meher, speaking of the pandemic, this is of course, an election that is happening. COVID is not over. We've seen, that cases of course have consistently been falling. But what are some of the preparations that are being made at polling booths like where you are in order to ensure that COVID protocols are followed?
Yes, Rishika, so there are going to be temperature checks at the entrance. Media is not allowed to go all the way inside, so we cannot actually verify yet on what the preparations are inside. Remember that this is an indoor venue that the polling is going on at, even though, of course, ventilation is something that is required. But we are told that inside all the booths are at a distance from each other, and social distancing will be enforced by the polling. As you see, people have now started going in. This may be the first small group of people who started going in for voting. We will try and speak to them as they come out.